Hey, what's up y'all, it's Charlie. On today's episode I'm going to be showing y'all how to make my delicious barbecue baked beans. Now if you're looking for a different take on baked beans, look no further. These baked beans have chicken, sausage, and bacon in it. Not only that, no cans, so I don't use no canned baked beans. So we start off by taking navy beans, we parboil them, and then we make a sweet, savory, and tangy barbecue sauce and a homemade chicken stock from scratch. We combine that along with the beans with some seasonings, and we add that into a pan and we bake it to perfection. So it's great for barbecues, picnics, fall, winter, even in the summer. I mean, it's really a great all-around dish. This recipe calls for about 6 to 8 servings. It's absolutely delicious. So without further ado, let's get started. Alright, here's all what you'll need to make your barbecue baked beans. Let's get started with our ingredients. You're going to need 1 pound of navy beans, 1 pound of pork joe bacon, 1 pound of chicken legs or chicken thighs, 1 pound of cocktail smoked sausage. Now if you don't have this, you can just use regular smoked sausage. About a half a pound will do. You will also need some salted butter, tomato paste, vinegar, hickory liquid smoke, mesquite liquid smoke, molasses, honey, brown sugar, and some mustard. Now for your seasonings, you're going to need 1 yellow onion, some garlic, and for your additional seasonings, you're going to need some salt, Tony Saturated Creole seasoning. Now if you don't have this, you can use the Zatarain's Creole seasoning or the Slap Your Mama Cajun seasoning. You'll also need some Chef Paul Prud'homme's Poetry Magic, mesquite seasoning, and some cayenne pepper. And to bake your beans, you're going to need a regular standard 9 by 13 inch glass or metal pan. And there we have it. Alright, let's get straight to it. So I'm going to go ahead and chop a half of a yellow onion. Here I have 1 clove of garlic. I cut it in half. Now I'm going to go ahead and chop the garlic up until it is minced. Alright, here I have my pork joe bacon. And I'm going to go ahead and cut this up into small to medium sized cubes. Alright, now I'm going to go ahead and salt my beans. I'm just going to place a little bit into the palm of my hand. Now any broken or discolored ones, you could discard those and throw those away. And from there, I'm going to drop them into this large pot. Alright, now I added about 8 cups of water in here. Now I'm going to go ahead and cover this. Let these soak for about 6 to 8 hours, or you can let them soak overnight. Alright, now I'm going to go ahead and add my chicken pieces into the strainer. And I'm going to rinse the chicken pieces off with cold water. Now I like to do this step to rinse off any blood or particles that might be on the chicken. Alright, now I've transferred my chicken pieces into this medium-sized bowl. Now before I did that, I went ahead and trimmed my chicken and everything, trim off any type of excessive fat or anything like that. So you could do that before you add your chicken in here. So let's go ahead and season. I'm going to sprinkle about a half a teaspoon of salt, a half a teaspoon of Tony Saturated Creole seasoning, and a half a teaspoon of Chef Paul Prud'homme's Poetry Magic. Now I'm going to just take my hands and I'm just going to coat the seasonings onto the chicken. Preheat your fire to medium heat. Alright, now let's get started with searing our chicken. So in this large saucepan, I'm going to spread about 1 tablespoon of salted butter around the bottom of the pan. Next, I'm going to add my chicken pieces into the saucepan. And I'm going to let this sear for about 3 to 4 minutes on each side. Alright, it's been about 3 to 4 minutes now and our chicken pieces are done. Now I'm going to go ahead and add 8 cups of water. Now I'm going to go ahead and cover this. Let this simmer for 45 minutes. Alright, it's been about 45 minutes now. And our chicken stock is done. Go ahead and turn your fire off. Alright, now I'm going to add my chicken stock into the strainer with a medium-sized bowl underneath it. Now I'm going to go ahead and just remove this. Now once done, you should have about 3.5 to 4 cups of chicken stock. Alright, here we have a piece of chicken here. And I'm just going to remove the meat off of the bone. Should be fairly easy to do. Now any type of fat or anything, you could use that on the chicken too, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to examine the chicken. Any bones or anything like that, you have to make sure you pay attention to that. You don't want that in there. Just separate the meat and the fat from the chicken. There we go. Preheat your fire to medium heat. Alright y'all, just put my beans on. And as you can see here, they're coming to a simmer. And I'm going to let these simmer for about 45 minutes or until the beans are tender. Alrighty, it's been about 45 minutes now. Now you want to test your beans to make sure that they are at your desired texture and they are done. Go ahead and turn your fire off. Now I'm going to go ahead and add my beans into this mesh strainer with a medium-sized bowl underneath it. I'm going to go ahead and remove the strainer from out the bowl and set that on the side. Alright, let's get started with making our barbecue sauce mixture. So in this medium-sized bowl, I'm going to add 6 ounces of tomato paste, 2 tablespoons of vinegar, 1 1/2 tablespoons of hickory liquid smoke, 1 1/2 tablespoons of mesquite liquid smoke, 2 tablespoons of molasses, 3 tablespoons of honey, 1 teaspoon of mustard, a 1/2 cup of brown sugar, 1/4 or 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 1/4 or 1/2 teaspoon of Tony Chachere's Creole seasoning, and a 1/2 teaspoon of mesquite seasoning. Now I'm going to take my whisk and I'm just going to stir this until combined. Preheat your fire to medium heat. Alright, so in this large pot, I'm going to add my chopped pork joe bacon right on in there. Now I'm going to go ahead and give this a quick stir. Then I'm going to cover this. And I'm going to let this saute for 9 minutes, stirring occasionally. Alright, it's been about 9 minutes now. And our bacon is done. Alright, now I'm going to go ahead and add my bacon into this strainer. And I have a large pan underneath it. Alright, so in this large pot, the same pot that we cooked our bacon in, I left about 1 tablespoon of the fat left over from the bacon in there. I'm going to add 1 1/4 cups of chopped yellow onion. Now I'm going to go ahead and give that a quick stir. Let this saute for about 5 minutes, stirring occasionally. Next up, I'm going to go ahead and add 1 tablespoon of chopped garlic. Next up, I'm going to add my chicken, the sausage, about a 1/2 pound, and our cooked cubed bacon right on in there. Now I'm going to go ahead and give this a quick stir. Let this saute for about 4 minutes, stirring occasionally. Alright, next I'm going to go ahead and add my barbecue sauce right on in there. And 3 1/2 cups of chicken stock. Now I'm going to go ahead and give this a quick stir. Next I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of salted butter. And I'm going to go ahead and give that a quick stir. Go ahead and turn your fire off. Now before you add your beans, just give it a quick taste to see if it's at your desired taste. If not, you can add more seasoning, or if it's not sweet enough, you can add just a little bit more brown sugar. Next, I'm going to go ahead and add my parboiled navy beans. And I'm going to go ahead and give that a final quick stir. And that's it. Alright, now I'm going to go ahead and preheat my oven to 350 degrees. Now I'm going to go ahead and add my baked bean mixture into this 13 by 9 inch standard glass pan. Now I'm going to stir it with a spoon just to make sure everything is nice and even. Now let's go ahead and bake this. Alright, now I'm going to place these into a preheated 350 degree oven on the bottom rack. Bake this for 1 hour and 30 minutes. Alright, it's been about 1 hour and 30 minutes now for our baked beans. Now let's go ahead and remove this out of the oven. Alright, we've just taken our baked beans out of the oven. And this is how it looks when we're done. As you can see, that's nice and creamy. And it's thickened as well. That's exactly what we're looking for. Wait about 30 minutes to an hour before serving. For best results, serve this the very next day so that way the flavors can settle and increase overnight. Here is the final presentation. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Homemade barbecue baked beans made by a New Orleans native. If you like my channel, hit the subscribe button. Hit the bell button if you want to be notified of my videos. Now I have an official website for all of my recipes, including for these delicious homemade barbecue baked beans. You can go to www.charliethecookandrews.com. I'm also on Facebook, Instagram, and on Twitter under the name Charlie the Cook Andrews. Stay tuned as Charlie's Taste Test is coming up next. Can't wait. Now it's time to go ahead and take a bite. Cheers. Yeah. Y'all, this is thebomb.com. I mean, y'all, the beans are nice and tender, and they soaked up the flavors from that barbecue sauce and that chicken stock. It has a very slight sweetness to it, not overly sweet, just the right amount of sweetness. All the seasonings that we added, you know how like when you build on seasonings, like how us people in Louisiana do, it really gives a overall balance and flavor to the entire dish, from the seasonings to the meat. Everything combines together to create a wonderful, sweet, savory, and delicious tasting barbecue baked beans. I mean, it is on point. So, give the recipe a try. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching. And until next time, have a good one. Peace.